All right. Okay.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're doing episode 2 of the podcast, and I've got my friend here, Robby Ingold, on from Ohio. We are here to chop it up about some arm wrestling, talk about some new news, some upcoming events, and of course, the Zloty Tour coming back. All right, so here we go. First off, had some updates come out this week or today actually about the 154 Ohio rankings. As a 154 Ohio guy, I would love to hear your thoughts on those new updated rankings.
I think they're fairly accurate, honestly. Some of them are maybe flopped by a few positions. A handful of us, I think, haven't been out. You haven't seen us. There's a few guys that haven't arm wrestled some each other at all, and then others just haven't competed for a while. Myself, even included, where I haven't met up with, gosh, 10 of these guys. A handful of times. Um, I'd love to challenge a few spots, but it doesn't really. It's not. I would take all kinds of spots. I feel like up a little bit if given the opportunity, but at the same time, I'd like to see others hash it out before that, right? Where they're at, because like looking at the list where I'm not in the picture and they're above, I'd like to see those hashed out. But some of them are obvious to me. I don't know.
How many
If I
how many matches are scheduled with guys ranked in that 10 top 10 area in there at 154? Do you know of any? What about
uh,
Otha Loving? I haven't heard a whole lot about him or seen much of him. I saw one match he had with Kevin. I was doing a little scouting report there, but not
he
seen him pull a lot of other tournaments.
he pulls yeah, I mean he's pulled several, but you had a tournament here, you had a tournament there, you win it. Obviously, getting a Kevin match, got a pin on Kevin, or a win on Kevin. He's got a nasty top roll, like a outside high. I don't know. I want to call it a high hook, but it's like his wrist stays kinked, but he's got it like pulled back and rolls with it. Not that his hook's not bad, but he's pretty strong. I think he's solidly a number two, to be honest. And honest, I don't know how many people could even touch Otha. Like if I'm looking at that rankings and I see Kevin and I see Otha and I see those two, everybody else, it's like I don't know if anybody's really touching those guys. Like there's some shots where I think like maybe you could try something,
Mhm.
but most of the guys I've seen they've been handled by it. Like say, let's say Kevin's beaten all the guys on
Like
he's on
everybody on that list, he pulls a lot.
yeah. He's beating everybody on the list, and when he's beat him pretty handily, and it doesn't look like any of us have had a shot against him. So it really, and then when you see Otha, at least what I've seen with Otha, I don't. He did take a loss to Adam Nell, so Adam Nell did get a pin on him. And Adam Nell's got this crazy flop wrist press, right, which is an arm wrestling move, right, and it worked. Um, so that's just like a window. Maybe some other guys could have that too that don't use it, right? Chris Louis, he's he's pretty good. Got that old man strength. Got a big hand. I've only gotten to pull him, I think, once officially, and I think that was after my David Lee match, and I was still nursing this hyperextended elbow, and that I tried some stuff with that, and that was some interesting loss right there. Just that hand, he can't go in there with a sore elbow. And he's got a good hand. I'd like to rerun that one back. Uh, but he's now what, third, I think, on this list. Is he
Is it?
third?
I'm not
Yeah.
saw it today. I saw you were down there.
I'm down there. Yeah, I'm down there. I'm lower than I feel like I am for sure, but at the same time, I've lost to, my gauge for sure. Terrence, I've lost to, so uh, I got to be below those guys.
Gotta get him though.
Everybody else, like but having Justice, Justice or Lawrence, like I feel like I could take both those specifically with their move sets. But that doesn't mean I could take them all the time. And who knows super match states. I'd love to do tournaments, right? We don't have the
See
same
that
bracket.
whole list get in a big bracket, huh?
Yeah, that'd be great. If we all showed up at the same bracket, it'd be perfect. That would be probably the best, that we should all show up at the same bracket. Because I've seen it where some of us have been at some are others. Handful. Three, four of us. Kevin's not there. Kevin sometimes, because anytime Kevin's there, it's like and then if he's not there, it's like everybody's fighting out for, like, yeah, you got first, but you did you? And then if there's only three guys there, or two or four, we should get the top 15, get our actual class there. It's only in Ohio. How hard is it to get the state of Ohio to get 15 guys together, 20 guys? Like, I mean,
Do it
we're
at a
really that
pay-in,
busy.
do it at a payout tournament. That way, everybody coming together makes the pot bigger for everybody.
Yeah. Well, most of us, I mean, I feel like most of us would pay. We're already paying for tournament entry fees and all that crap anyway. So
Have a
I
chance at
think,
some money.
yeah, especially if there's some decent money, because you talk about 15 guys, 15, 20 guys, even if you made 20, I know that's a big list if we did a tournament. But I think if it was 20, you do triple elimination to add a little bit more matches in there, I guess, so that the guys don't go 0-2, 0-2. So you have a bunch of 0-2s to filter out. You at least have some 1-2s and 0-3s and 2-2. You add your how many, where your ranks really would be at. Because I feel like when you have 0-2s, or you don't, in a round robin, sounds almost like when I watched the ones with Kevin and the Nation here.
Yeah.
Uh, Watching that is great, but then depending on the seed and how that goes,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really validate how would those matches have played out the last 6 rounds. Like we all know, fresh for fresh is a little different, but it is
yeah,
really interesting format to watch. I enjoy watching it.
I very much like it. I do like it though. So at the same time, the seeding can be one thing. I still like to see it where it's like, oh, dude, I'm still going to get to see that person versus that person no matter what.
Yeah.
And then a caveat of like, well, if it's the last match and he's already had war, then I'm not going to care as much. But it's still an interesting battle.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. But none of, I don't feel like they happen enough. I feel like it's so complicated to get 15, 20 guys together at the same event, even in the same state.
Yeah, much less like Laray's doing, bringing guys from all over the country, man. It's
Yeah,
great. I love it though. I love watching those videos.
it's impressive. It's
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah, and we got more coming, right? We got a couple more of the weight classes coming this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
That
154 is
invitational's
happening
coming up
coming
this
up in
year.
March. Yeah,
Yeah.
176 is in March. That should be fireworks. Fireworks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get back down to Denham Springs again. Before that, before the match with Kevin, and go practice with Dustin Hyatt and Craig Touye again, and see how Dusty's feeling going into that.
Okay.
That might sway my opinion on my prediction, depending on how he's feeling.
All right.
So yeah, so Kevin's the number one guy there. That can lead into another topic. I got the big match coming up with him at Winter Blast. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's probably going to be a tough one to win for either one of us. We've both put in our due diligence over the last several years. Oh no, it kicked me off while I was recording.
Oh, what?
Oh wait, it's still on there. What happened? I still hear Robbie. Pick up where you left off of the chat. Um, did it ask you? I bet this sucker's not.
No, it's good. Yeah, I didn't ask nothing yet.
I wonder if we're recording. Yeah, it says we are.
All right.
I'm gonna have to edit that part out. Anyways, we'll pick back up on that. Wow. All right. So yeah, so the big match with Kevin Palco at Winter Blast. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think, we've both shown we can dominate some brackets, and he's been pulling a lot of super matches lately, especially against guys bigger than him, 165s and 176s. Of course, he had his big match in Arm Wars with Craig Sanders. That was very impressive, to say the least, for sure. He fights, that's for sure. Then he looked like a different guy at that round robin, against the other 154s from North America.
Yeah. See, I kind of felt the same. Like seeing the Craig Sanders match, and then seeing the 154 like invitation. I was like, oh man. Oh.
Makes me wonder, where's Craig Sanders at?
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the same time, I'd like to see where Craig Sanders at the same time. Like, how's he pulling? Was he just pulling once? Does he just coming out? Like, I don't know what kind of activity Craig had
Mhm.
going in against Kevin.
True.
like it was Kevin where I'm a little bit more familiar because I pull why I've been a little bit lackluster on some of my training, some more like every other week with them, or and I've skipped some where it's 3 weeks or something between. But uh, at the same time, I who know I haven't seen Craig Sanders tournaments. I haven't seen him on any of YouTube's.
Yeah. It's
Kevin's been
tough to
pulling,
gauge.
yeah. And so who knows where he would be like? Is he recovered? Did he do well? Because Kevin never stopped. Like even after that, he's pulling other people. He's going to more things. He's pulling super matches here and there. He's pulling another tournament. He's pulling in other weight classes.
Mm.
Um, and so it's hard to judge sometimes. Like when you pull, what are you getting? Like what do you get with that? So if he comes in fresh and he's not, who knows if he's feeling any pain or anything. But if he's feeling fresh and all that, he's coming in like what he looked like, let's say at the beginning of Sanders or like on that trajectory. It's a pretty strong hook. His hook is dirty, and he's developed some other moves. His shoulders there. He's got serious drag too. You got that rock climber strength with the hands, like the fingers. Um, and so it's going to be hard to beat, right? But at the same time, with arm wrestling,
Mm.
what I've seen and seen with even very strong opponents, you do the right move set, blows right through it,
There's
blows right
vulnerability
through
there.
it. And even the strongest opponent, where you're like, man, there's no way you could beat RVJ. And I'm not saying we could beat RVJ, but you could just beat him with a certain move, right?
Yeah.
And because you have to run from that hand, there's no way you're going to beat him his hand. Like my gosh, you're going to have to do. And in Kevin's case, you're going to have to beat like that forearm's big, man. That forearm's big forearm. He's got like it's over 15 inches or something. It's a large forearm. Like it's the size of it's bigger than his calf muscle, I believe.
That's
Like
funny.
yeah, it's large, man. Not that his calf muscle's small either, because calf muscle's not like bad. Like it's strong. Like, but the forearm is sizable. It's a strong forearm. So if it's fighting that arm is very difficult. He's got a pretty good arm. But at the same time, you've got a pretty nasty top roll, which top roll beats Alexi Vavoda, right? Like it beats top roll beats everything sometimes. Where it goes, and if you got speed, Travis Pageant did the same thing, right? Top roll speed, and you'll
Wow.
blow through a strength. So I think that'll be a good matchup to see where that meets. Do you guys? I don't know who's refing it. Dude. Who's refing that match?
Sean Hancock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be
See.
good. I think we both like rigid rules anyways.
Yeah.
I mean I'm good with pretty much any rule set as long as whatever's consistent. And I have pulled a few of Sean's tournaments and watched a lot of matches, and that's one thing that I can definitely say about Sean. He is consistent. He calls
Yeah.
matches strict, but he calls them very consistently where it's
I'm,
so
I'm a fan of him. As
that's like
far
a
as being
national.
a ref fan, I've dabbled into this refing thing now. My first couple fortes, and I found myself now watched a few videos. What was it? I don't know what I was watching. Just watching. It was either in East versus West, or it was some. It was something I was just watching, and when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm watching the ref more than watching the pullers." I'm like, "Ah, this is bad. I'm becoming a referee. I don't know if I want to do that. I like pulling so much." Because I also enjoyed. I very much enjoyed doing refing, while at the same time beat myself up for missing all kinds of stuff. Like,
Yeah. Give
but
something to critique.
yep. And something changed. Like my left arm does not like tightening the strap. I got to use the right arm. I don't know what it is. This left arm does not like the angle. It does not like how I have to pull the strap
Press.
down. I got the right arm.
Got
It's
it.
just it's
There you
weird.
go. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's weird. It's really strange. Cause like it doesn't feel like it's a lot of pressure, but every time I do it, it's like the left arm is like, no, I don't want to do that.
I remember actually one time at a tournament, Sean was tightening the strap, and his I think it was his brachialis was cramping on him. He was like, somebody got some of that I think it was Bengay or some kind of roll-on biofreeze or something like that.
Yeah.
And he had put it on during the tournament. He's like, y'all be amazed how much work this is.
Oh, my knees, and my feet after doing a tournament, especially down refing, where you're down below and you're trying to be a pin line, you're actually taking a knee. You got to have knee pads or something. There's got to
Oh,
be
no.
really nice shoes. You got to be quick. quicker than I anticipated. You got to watch out for the I wanted to call them actors, the opponents, like all the competitors where they move because they're quick, man. You got to move out of their way. Like even as headrest, I was doing those dog fights. It's hard to get out of the way of some of these guys, man. Too damn fast. Like it's 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 crazy how fast you guys can be.
Yeah. I love it. Heck yeah. So let's move into the King of the Table event. Before we got on here and started recording, you mentioned some details about your opinion of the King of the Table. Tell me what you thought about it.
So I would say like King of the Table is one of those where I've watched every single one, right? I've seen every King of the Table, I've seen every East versus West. I own all the trading cards. I've spent that kind of money. And I've got all the John Brzenk signed cards. So East versus West for me is when I'm seeing these matches, even if I don't know some of the competitors, which I don't know some of their names just because maybe I just don't know that country. I haven't seen them because some of them 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm going to not know them. But at the same time, the matches are like, okay, these are high quality. These are world championship matches. We've got enough of them that we know this guy versus this guy. We know this is this guy first through this. King of the Tables has been like, okay, we saw Larry Wheels lose a whole bunch of times. And
We
by
saw
all rights,
Ryan Bowen. Ryan Bowen pulled a tired Khaled.
yeah, yeah. And then we got, I mean, Auden Barrett versus Whisperer, which is like, well, Whisperer's really never. I mean, I don't know. He's only done a handful of tournaments that I've even seen on that. Maybe he's done more, and I don't know about it because I don't know everything he's done. Auden's done. I know he did nationals at Canada, which already puts him out like, holy shit, that's pretty impressive. Like if you're doing nationals, you've already won it, and then you got a guy that's not number one in a state. Ah, I don't know. That's a mismatch. And then you got 40 plus pound, 40-ish pounds on him.
He won.
I'm
I
not really
think he
sure.
won juniors at nationals in Canada.
Oh, it was a juniors?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think it was open. I think he pulled open too, and he got like sixth or something.
All right. All right. Well,
But yeah, also he did gain a lot of weight really fast. Devin said. Devin said he's gained like 30 or 40 pounds in the last few months.
a
So
lot.
if that's happening, then maybe that just at one point it made sense. They planned the match, and then it didn't make sense no more. By the time it came, I guess.
Yeah. And like, let's say Matt Mask versus Derek Smith. I guess I hypothetically like it because Derek Smith's super strong. We've seen him take out Tim Bresnan, and then Matt Mask lost to Tim Bresnan, but then Matt Mask just beat Tim Bresnan, or sorry, just beat Derek Smith.
Mhm.
At the same time, I like Derek Smith. I like Matt Mask. I don't really want to see those two go against each other right now. Like I don't even like. I just don't. That Derek Smith's on a thing, and Matt Mask sound like I don't want him to be part of that comeback tour. And now it's happened. So
I know.
whatever.
I know. It didn't really help neither one of their stocks, especially with Matt talking about going down to 105.
Yeah, like what you just beat up on Derek Smith, and then you're gonna drop weight. Like come on, nah, dang it. Like because Derek's not going down to 105. Like
Mm-mm.
and
You
what's funny is in my cards that I was just referring to, I've got all these guys that are 6'8". Matt Mask, which is not 6'8", but he's a tall guy on this page with
Derek
Vitali
Smith,
and Derek
Tally.
Smith and Kardeccia, all on this page because they're all the big guys. But I don't always want to see that versus that at this certain moment. Like I wouldn't want to see Kardeccia versus Vitali right now.
Mm-mm.
It's like too soon. There's not enough. Like Kardeccia hasn't been pulling. He's pulled like Morzov left-handed once.
Just left. He hasn't pulled a
Now,
left-handed match since he started.
right. So we haven't seen it. And King of the Table, what else? What else did we have the other day with them? We had Auden, and then we had Matt Mask, and then we had was it Rhino on that one?
Lachlan pulled.
Ah,
Who was it? He pulled.
Lachlan pulled was it Defeat?
Might be right. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Heard
I'm
he
not
looked
sure.
really good though. Heard he won and looked really, really good. Like he's been
He,
looking up.
Lachlan is one of those where like that opponent for me is not an interesting opponent that I want to see him against. You know what I mean? Like when I hear Lachlan now, seeing him after he's like developed past because for a little while he was under Ryan and then he surpassed Ryan, then he like surpassed Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And now with him doing what he's doing and how I've seen his strength, man, I'd like to see him. I don't know who I would want to see. I saw some side pulling with him in Iraqi, which looked, Iraqi looked really strong because even he looked good against Vitali. So I don't
Yeah, he
know.
looked really
Iraqi,
good against Vitaly. I was just gonna say.
yeah, yeah, Vitali. Yeah, who knows? Iraqi's man, he's strong. Like
Mm.
he's and depending on how you come into that, right? Because if he's coming in super, super fresh and super strong and not injured, and then Vitali just had the match, like Vitali and Dave Chafee, right? Dave Chafee for me is like, dude, he's lost so many matches at this point where it's like, dude, I think you should either take the false retirement and just take some time off, get healed, do whatever, just hang out with your life, live a good thing, be a commentator, maybe do that, which he doesn't like being in that like commentation space. It sounds like I don't know, because he's just not Dave Chafee that we're used to. Like 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, man, Dave Chafee, 15, 16, yeah. Dave Chafee's
Yeah,
monster.
dude.
17, 18, 19, 20, yeah, 21, 22, 23 has been like, I don't know, man. He's just been, you know,
Going downhill.
yeah. And then
I
Vitali,
think
well,
I think at the point that he in the WAL when he got to where he pulled Devin and Michael, I think around then he was still really strong. It seems like since then he's gone down. He said his neck was still bothering him, but was better. Um,
yeah,
maybe
but that
he's just
was,
not there,
man.
man. Maybe he's just his age, and then also another thing to think of. Not only is he over 40 now and showing some age, but the level is different than it used to be, man. He
I'd
was
like to
wrestling.
see him. You know who I'd like to see him versus?
Who's that?
Jerry Cataract. Like
I'd
he
rather
is,
see
he is
Jerry pull.
beating.
I'd rather see Jerry pull somebody overseas. I'd rather see them both pull somebody overseas. I would.
Well,
It would be. It would tell us who's the true number two in North America because it's got
I
to
just
be between one of them.
at this point, because with the way Dave's been performing, I mean, it's not that he's not strong, not that he still can't kick ass against all kinds of
Yeah.
opponents, but he's still stronger and at levels above lots of other people. Um, but to get him back to where he was, just like Saplinkov doesn't look near what I mean, my gosh,
What
did
it
you
was,
see it in like 2014, 15? That guy was the Hulk, man. He was huge.
yeah.
Like you see him now, it's like, yeah, he had a bicep. Yeah, he's strong, but he's not the same. He doesn't have the same chest. He doesn't have the same everything.
Yeah.
Uh, so like when I see the matchup and Vitali's been working out all the time, he's been on a tear. Like every time
Not
you
for,
see him
not
now,
a not a full time truck driver anymore.
now he's a full-time arm wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary dude. A 6'8" full-time heavyweight arm wrestler. Just like Devin Laird's a 6'5", 6'6" full-time arm wrestler. That man, these are scary dudes. That is if that's what you can do, you are just fantastic with how much better you're going to be, where you don't have to worry about it all with your work.
All right.
Where tons of the American pullers, I mean, like if you look at any of our American pullers, I mean, even including Dave Chafee and Jerry Catarat, John Brzenk, Todd Hutchings, all of them work. Still
Mm-hmm.
working full time jobs, every single one of them. So like it's like, hey man, and RVJ working full time job. He's got his stuff. So like, if they could be full time arm wrestlers, oh man, come on. If John Brzezinski, well, the fact that John Brzezinski's not a full time arm wrestler at this point, how he's not retired, that he has to, I mean, I can't imagine he has to work, but I feel like there's no reason he shouldn't be able to be like retired. And the only thing he does is train for arm wrestling
Right.
and like old man
I
style.
think
So
that's
he's
just
not,
not the life he wants anymore.
yeah, and that's right. Exactly. The goals, right? Same with Dave Chafee. Same with where are their goals? Is he even into it? Is he really driving for it? Is he really want it? Like,
Not like Vitali is or Devin.
no, Devin definitely looks like he wants it. Vitali, he's shown that he wants it. Someone like Aramis shows that he wants it. Um, and then Todd Hutchings shows that he wants it. Like they go in there, they're battling for it, man. They're there all the time. They're going and going hard. Uh, King of Table though, like we're getting some matches that are like, I don't know, like I don't really Leonidas, Schoolboy stuff. Schoolboy needs a real match to me. Like I don't really care. I want him versus somebody real, like even a Chance Saw. That's what I'd like. Chance Saw versus Schoolboy.
Good match.
Battle of the glasses. Battle of the cool glasses. Because they've got really nice glasses now. I think glasswares look so much better now with the way that you can get these Ray Bans and stuff. But I think that'd be a better match to see rather than like these bodybuilders.
I agree. I agree.
It's not.
I guess
Yeah.
I guess if you think about it, East versus West is one that's super serious about seeing world ranks are at in different weight categories, and then King of the
Yeah.
Table is where you'd get to see something crazy like that. Tell you something other interesting I mentioned at the beginning of the video coming up is Lottie Tour is back via Igor Mazarenko talking about it. It's coming. So what do you think? Is that good or bad for the sport? How is that going to correlate with East versus West and King of the Table and core sports? You think they'll be partners, or do you think they'll be competitors? How you see that playing out?
I would see them as competitors for sure, but not opposed to being partners. Depending on who competes at the Zolti, if there's some, that contract, and I'm wondering if that's why that contract conversation came up a few months back, and we started talking about signing contracts because they had the whiff of Zolti coming back.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh, you can't compete in Zolti, and then Zolti's going to have once again another champion over there, and we're going to have all these. We got a King of the Table champion, we got an East versus West champion, we got a Zolti Tour champion, we got it, which may or may not be a bad thing, having these
Different.
actual champions from different regions that are real champions. Because, like, when you say you're like world champs and you're the NBA or the basketball or something, you didn't play anybody from China, you didn't play anybody in Russia, right? You didn't play their Russia basketball team. When you arm wrestle and you arm wrestle the Zolti, and if we get some real people there, get all the Castellinos and get the Matt Mask, and everybody shows up to that open tournament, and
Mhm.
the weight that he's going to pay out. Uh, And I mean, look at
Interesting.
Andre Pushkar, right? Pushkar to me has always been since 2018, right? He was number one. It was like in my mind, it was unquestionable. He had proved he had beaten everybody in my mind up to 2018, and then we were going to get that full culmination. Obviously, there was that, and it was all built because of Zolti Tour. Zolti Tour enabled us to see, hey, he beat this guy, this guy,
Yes.
this guy
Yeah.
over
Everybody.
like nonstop. And so we lost that. I was really sad to lose Zolti. I watched all the Zoltis. I was
I did
very
too.
interested
It's
in
fun to
what,
watch. I watched the pay-per-view for the whole weekend in
yeah,
2019.
I liked what he was doing. I saw something on Facebook a few weeks, maybe a week ago, where he had some book or something that he was going to really was selling some arm wrestling book to write your charts and your numbers in. I like this. I like the Zolti tour. I thought. I mean, that's all where you see that's John Brzenk and Voda and Travis Bajan. That's
Ron Bath.
yeah, Ron Bath. That's all
Archie
that
Bakken.
all those, yeah. So to see that come up now, where especially if there's not going to be any like contract drama, and we could actually see like, hey, an open tournament where Levon went to an open tournament and had to pull more than one guy that was like, ranked not 15th or 8th or whatever fictitious like spot they were at the time, right? Because if you look at his build, which was also kind of attached to that build there, that was super matches against only the people that were allowed in at that time with contracts, right?
Top eight. Yeah.
Yeah, top eight had a lot of contracts with it. If he goes Zolti Tour Open, and we just have to worry about the guys that have signed now, whether it be a few, hopefully very few people. Maybe we lose Levon or the Devon, or like I thought Teddy Hutchings might have signed to something. If we lose a handful of those, that's okay. Because we get the rest and we get to see like, hey, well, Vitali went there, Dave Chafee, Jared Cadaret went there, Matt Mask went there, Costino went there, John Brasink, and we got to see Irakli goes in there and like we get to see an open pool. All of them had a chance. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That I would much rather see that honestly than these super matches.
I would too. I just love tournament format arm wrestling. It's been missing. It's
Mhm.
high level tournament format has been missing for so long. And I
Yeah.
get the topic, or I get the point people are saying when they talk about the rankings and how it's really hard to set the rankings if you don't have one-on-one matches. But the thing is, styles make matches, and even if you set these super matches, just like in tournament format, your rankings are going to be fluid. Guys are going to move around because guy A beats guy B, but guy B beats guy C, and then it's like rock, paper, scissors.
And what if I mean, talk about sometimes when you go one on one with the move, let's say somebody's a one trick pony with their move, but it's beating you. Once you actually take it on and then you learn from that loss and you come back to it, you sometimes can defeat that no problems or better than you did before.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not the same matchup. So like, it's like when you see it once, oh, he beat that guy. Yeah, but let's see it again.
Yeah, but
Like, I mean,
the losers
look at
bracket
George
was the easy
Johnson,
way
right?
through. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like seeing a tournament where I think Travis Bajan talks about this, where we saw tournaments every weekend. We knew who the top guys were because they kept winning all the
We're
tournaments.
pulling, yeah.
And if you're winning the tournament, by default, you're the top guy. If there was a guy that there was a struggle with, or we're like, man, but that guy would have been good against you, well, then okay, we'll get that super match set up for 3 months from now so that you guys know, don't pull the next couple months of tournaments, come in fresh and we'll see you, right? But for those select guys that we need that for, we'll call those out, right? And so every 3 months, I think we could have a super matches, right? Every 3 months we have super matches, and in between there we have tournaments every month. Every, let's say, 2 weeks there's tournaments,
Mhm.
right? Or maybe there's every week tournament at different regions because we need that many because there's so many of us in different parts of our states. I mean, could you think you did like 4 parts of your state every week? And then on the culminating month, you figure out like, hey, is there anything we need to talk about for this third month coming up? Then you do it in the second month, do the same thing. And then you just keep doing it and running it where when you show up, get the attendance, get these people. I think we're getting enough people watching this sport now, although they're afraid. I don't understand people being afraid that they're afraid of getting hurt, obviously, at practice and stuff. But if they'll come and pull, man, they'll come and they'll arm muscle this stuff. And if we had them all, if they're out there and not just in bars, my gosh, we got to get out of that bar stuff.
We're ready to do high
Um,
schools.
got to get in high schools. We've
Doing
got to
something
get
like that this weekend. Me and my girlfriend are going down to Lafayette, Louisiana for the Hope Festival, which is for a bunch of kids. And these
okay.
kids are going to arm wrestle the arm wrestlers. And if they win, they get a gift card. They have to sign a waiver,
Oh,
of course. But I was thinking about different thumbnails to make a YouTube video out of, actually. And the best one I came up with is, can these high school boys beat my girlfriend in arm wrestling? So, and I'll
okay.
clip her and the kid on the
Okay.
now. I'm gonna see if I can make something cool with it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a, I've got
that's a start. Maybe we can get with their basketball coach or whoever their coaches are that work at that school and talk to them about, hey, all these kids really love this. What do you guys think about looking into getting an arm wrestling table to have in the school?
I mean, I can't imagine because obviously they'd be like, oh, you're gonna have to pay for something because a table's gonna cost. I know there's gonna be a budget. You have to pay a coach or someone to be there that would know it, whatever arm wrestler we picked from that. But how much really would any of us really need to go to a school? I don't know how often we would go because obviously it wouldn't be a 9 to 5 job. You're only going there for the after school curricular when they're out of school at 2, 3 p.m. till 4 or whatever. So they only get an hour or whatever their extracurricular. Well, I'll take like, 5 grand for that. Like, I don't know what the salary is, right? But like what that would equate to, but 15 grand, something cheap where it's like, that's not a lot. And then we have high schoolers that would be dirty. I mean, some of these kids that I've met, even at these, we did, here, Billy Collins throwing some East Liverpool events, pottery festivals and stuff. We've had them at like these whole, outside, and there's a table and all these just people coming up and then pulling with it. It's fantastic. You got all these kids, but if they knew how to arm wrestle, oh, buddy, would they be good? But they just don't know what they're doing. And because they don't know what they're doing, they look kind of risky. They look dangerous.
Scary.
Like when it looks scary. Like it's like, oh, I don't want to watch it. Like you don't even want to watch newbies arm wrestling anymore because it looks so terrible. Because you're like, oh gosh, you're gonna hurt yourself. But then when you watch us, like pullers that know what they're doing, it's like, oh hell yeah! Like because even like Kevin, he'll get in, I'll say scary positions. At the same time, I know he's been there. He's not a noob. He's used to it. He's not at risk like what I would see a new guy does. I'd be like terrified. That would be an awful. I don't want to see that. I'd want to like
Run
stop
over
the
there and
match.
stop it right quick.
Yeah, and you're like, please stop. Please don't do that anymore. Like, I don't want to see you hurt yourself because you'll never arm wrestle again after you break that. Like some guy would be like when he goes home to his wife and tells her he broke his arm. Oh, it's never gonna happen, never gonna work.
Rough one. Yeah. Right. So what your favorite tournament format over Super Match 2, huh?
I if I'm looking back, like looking at some of the Zolti tours and some of the matches that I've watched, and even watching like WAL and watching that it was tournament. This guy went against this guy, then he had to go on and go against this guy. And I knew all this. It was a Jeff Day was there, or just there was other people in the brackets that you knew some of these names. That to me is more impressive than the just one-on-one, except for like right now where we have a pretty good established one-on-one system going on, right? But just happened. We've only had it for I mean, this is new to me. Like, I think it's new to all of us
Many
where we've
years,
got
yeah.
this. Yeah, this is a new kind of really established one-on-ones. But now what I'd like to see then would be like this East versus West, like whatever, maybe 15. Make it a tournament. Take all those guys you just showed us pulling all this. Here's the champion. Throw the champ and all of them into an open, into their 105 bracket or their 90, for whatever the bracket is. Put Levon and Devin and Aramis and Matt. I'll put them all in their heavyweight and put a bracket in. Let's do it. And if they want to make it seeded, make it seeded, but at least make a double elimination. Like, hey, you got to win it.
Let's see.
And if that's not, maybe that doesn't decide who number one is at that point, but at least it would give us a really good aspect of, we just watched a culmination of this, and maybe it would ruin what they built. I don't know if they're not confident in it. But if you just showed us all this rankings, we've seen these matches on one-on-ones, we've established these. What happens if we threw them all in a tournament? Does number one still turn out? If he does, that's cool, right? That's like, okay, well then it's a proven system. Your super matches is the best way to figure out our number one. If we throw them into a bracket right now and the number one doesn't come out in every weight class, that would pretty much prove like, hey, super match is kind of full of shit, right? Or if we had like mixed 50-50, 40-60, we would just have a pretty good judgment of what does super match arm wrestling do and what does brackets do. And the only way to prove that, I think, at this current moment is something that East versus West has established. We know we've seen all of these pullers, even like Ravaz, like Michael. Now, Michael Todd's a wild card because he broke him. He got broken, and then now he's coming back. But you have Ravaz, you have Vitali, Vitali beat Ravaz. You have all these matches that have been decided. We could see a real, I mean, could you imagine seeing Jerry Cataret and like Vitali and Dave Chafee and Levon and frickin' Devin all in the same damn and Georgie and Kurdecha all in the same thing? And shit, maybe John Brzezink's in there for funsies just because he wants to be, because we should, like,
put him in that 95 kilo.
Yeah, let him be. Yeah, we're gonna drop him down. Not 105. Exactly, drop him down. So exactly, have that where you've got the 95, and that to me, that would be amazing. And maybe that's still available. Maybe they'll do something like that. But
or maybe even they do the bracket of just one class, and then they have some other super matches mixed in.
And I still think, like, we need super matches for like even the women's division. We don't have a well-established women division, even though we have tons of women pullers that are amazing. Because like Thea Reisick, she's one of my favorite. I know she's getting on this card, which I'm a pretty big fan. I'd like to see a lot of matches, but to have this established where we would have more tournaments that we knew all the players, right? Because when we do an open tournament, problem with that is we don't know everybody. There could be 100 competitors, we know like 3 of them. Or if I watch right now, like at the random person, and I watch Florida's tournament, or which I've been watching Florida and all that for a while, so I kind of recognize a lot of guys. But if I watch some Louisiana, or I watch some, if I watch something and I don't know a lot of the competitors, it's like, okay, you like some matches, but if you don't know anyone, it doesn't help. If we've now know all the players, we all know them because we've all seen them on video, we've seen them in great matches, and then we put them in a tournament, and then we get to see him like, oh, dude, look, he changed. Look, he pressed through that guy. And then look, he top rolled through that guy. Like, you just watch him go through and just cut through with certain moves, or you watch one guy ace one thing, like a Travis shows up, right? Where you're like, oh shit, Travis just goes in and blitzes everybody. But
makes a fist.
Like, yeah, that's a pipe dream. I would love to watch Travis do something like that.
I would love it too. Honestly, it might motivate him to come back even more if we had tournaments come back.
Well, if there was money, I mean, there's tons of money, because clearly there is. This is clearly getting tons of money from what they're throwing, the production that they're spending, the backgrounds, the cards, I mean, because you have to pay somebody to make these cards. They're making little figures of Devin Larratt shit. I don't know if you saw some of those. I didn't buy those because they didn't move. If he moved into an arm wrestling position, which I also have some crazy amount of figures, I would have bought it. But because it didn't, it was like, I'm not buying a statue for $150. But with that, they're spending money. There's clearly money in arm wrestling, so we can get these things done. I just don't see why we can't get tournaments and get, just like WAL. What's the holdup at this point? I get that, like, we had the Rona, right? What's the holdup now? Why are we still playing like we can't host tournaments in America or Australia or any country for that matter? Why can't anything happen right now?
That's supposed to come back too. I've heard Travis mentioning things about that. Steve Kaplan had a season pass to Bears games, and of course, Travis's son's a Bears quarterback. So
Oh, okay.
they were hanging out during games, and Travis was hanging out in VIP with him. He was saying, I mean, it's been a month or two now, but he was saying on the podcast not that long ago that they were in the works and very close, but he couldn't say any details. So hopefully, if the WAO comes back, he'll come back with tournament
I
format.
think honestly, I think WAL is my first because I pulled my county fairs and then I pulled some tournament in Athens. I can't remember who that was with, what the organization was with. But when WAL come out, it was like 2014, something like that. They were putting some of those Buffalo Wild Wings free
Yeah.
tournaments and shit. But there was also before the Buffalo Wings, they were doing it like bars. They had gone around everywhere around the country when they were doing that. And that was my first like, oh man, we had some real competition, real pullers, real like tournaments. And then we had that really great heyday, I think, and then it disappeared. How hard is that to keep going? I don't understand. Like I don't feel like it's that much money. It wasn't that much. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't have all the production money. But seeing like 217, right? Seeing some of these guys that have recorded some of these tournaments. If you've got a guy like that, just that's one guy, and then you get an announcer, and then you got the tournament. I mean, come on, how what? And then you got the competitors. We all show up. We all want to pull.
Yeah. All you do is
What's so hard about it? But I would love for WA to come back, especially here in America, because I feel like East versus West. I know there's going to be have some tournaments, but it seems I don't really want to go to Turkey and Dubai and stuff. Like, it's just not. I'm not interested in it. I don't want. I'm not interested in going overseas right now. I'm fully okay with where I'm at. I'll go to the beach right here. Uh, but
Oh, there is an East versus West event coming
yeah,
to Las Vegas.
yes, I did see that. I haven't been to Vegas for a while. I don't know if I want to. I mean, Vegas is always changing every time you go there. That big eyeball thing is there. But that'd be a fun. I mean, it'd be fun to watch too, because there'd be a whole bunch of tournament people there. Like that's another thing. I'd like to. Some of my problem is now I want to go to events and not even compete in them. I almost want to go to them and watch them. Especially like even 150. I've been to 154s in Ohio's, and I haven't competed. Whether it was because I had my own injury or I had my own thing going on that I was able to go there, but I wasn't able to compete that day. I actually had fun watching, seeing where people were matching up, and it was like, hey, it sucked that I wasn't able to pull because I would love to, just didn't work out that way. But sometimes you want to see those, and you want to see the matches, like because when you're pulling and you're in the match, you forget about like, oh shit, somebody's pulling. You forget about that those people are there, right? You're not going to see it. You're going to have to wait for somebody to hopefully have taken a video of it.
Yeah, so hopefully when the WO does come back, they won't have staged fans like before. They will actually let us arm wrestle show up and come.
I don't even understand. When I've rewatched some of that after, like I've rewatched, and it is so bad to watch like some of these people. And it's like, man, I don't even get. There's so many people that were there, and you had to have fake people there. Like, what? Because I love how they have it. I like how they have the audience, like how they have it squared in around it. I think it set it up for a good situation. But they have fake people that don't even know, they're not even interested. Like you got to have people that want to be there.
Emotion is hard to fake in that sense.
Yeah, because like I mean, I'm trying to think of what I just watched. When you watch the background of people who are really invested and you see their reactions to like how matches go, and you're just like, oh shit, like yeah, that's genuine right there. You didn't expect that, did you? Like you didn't expect them to crush you like that. And I mean, even watching like what was it? Devin beat Gasparini, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see some of the background people. Yeah, they weren't expecting it, right? Of course, his son was there, pretty. I don't know if he was shocked, but excited. You're watching the crowd is fun to watch, and if you've got a fake crowd, yeah.
Not as exciting. I really did like it how when Devin pulled Dennis, how they put the crowd around them. That was really cool. You could see there all the arm wrestlers that had came back out there to watch it.
Yeah, Devin. Yeah, that was one. That was a good one. Dennis versus Devin was pretty good. With the whole, I don't think that the auxiliary people, once again, I still don't like auxiliary people being involved in the arm wrestling match. As far as like, I don't think Jody was problem, but like even I think it was Babkin, right? I don't think any of the other people should be on that stage anywhere except for in the corner helping you in your corner, right? Like in your corner, you're getting your arm, you're getting, you're getting water, getting towel, whatever, that's fine. But when it comes to back to the table area, that's like a perimeter set. Get the F away. We don't need to hear you. Like, and if you keep talking, we just remove you. Like, because we've got like, 3, 4 guys up here in this one spot trying to get stupid amount of pressure because I mean you're talking about like what you're trying to control there with weight in a vector, uh, and you got these auxiliaries elbows screaming some crap, and it's like, hey, they're doing their job, just shut up. Like I don't really want to. You remember that match with John Brzezinski and Farid, and
With
it's
the
the old
dad
one
was
like old
screaming at
06, and oh yeah, he says free, just nonstop. And you're like, oh my gosh, shut up. Like I don't ever want to hear, like I don't want to hear that. Like we want to watch a match, right? And having somebody else in there in the background or too close to the opponent or something or touching them, being there, it's like, dude, I don't want to see that. Like, but they
Let
did.
them
I did
do
see
it. Let them go. Right.
yeah. Like I saw at the rules meeting they talked about no competitors leaving the stage and all that jazz, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. Like you can't be leaving the stage. We saw that before, and then that wasn't cool. That's
Do your interview. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like do your interview, right? Like, hey, you got an interview to do. If you won or you're lose, you still if they're calling for an interview, you gotta get interviewed, man. It's
Yeah.
TV. Like
Yep. Show your respect. So you'll get it better
yeah.
next time. That's fine.
Yeah, be like, hey, I was crappy this time. I'll be better next time. Or like, hey, yeah, I got it today. I was the champ. Like what you just gotta say something.
That's
Drink
right.
your water bottle or your Pepsi and get your
Get you
NASCAR. They
something
didn't watch
fun.
NASCAR enough. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Heck yeah, man. Well, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the WAO coming back, Zlotty Tour coming back, and seeing, of course, what East versus West and King of the Table do for sure. It's going to be interesting. It's a good time to be an arm wrestler. The sport sure is exploding right now.
yeah. It's
Yes.
you know I can't imagine it get. I mean, obviously, it's not going to get slower.
Mhm.
I can't see how it can't get even crazier big. Like how much bigger it can be. Like just like talking about high schools. If we got into schools, I think America would explode with production. I mean, look at what happened with us with that dang not slap fighting, but
UFC.
paddle ball or whatever. The
Ping
one
pong.
sport that yeah, it's not ping pong, but they're doing the little tennis thing, but it's paddle ball. Like they got the big paddle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the name is, but they're sponsors and crap. I feel like with arm wrestling, once we get more people, because they still don't like. We're at a gym right now, and you have people just amazed by it. Like they're walking by their little kids at a basketball game, and they're wearing this open glass thing practicing. They're all like, "Hey," and they're all like, "Look at this," and they're all watching the matches of us, right? And then it's like me, I'm watching. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put on a show more. I was gonna beat this guy, but now I'll just let it go a little bit longer because like they haven't seen this stuff, and people will watch it. They'll love it. And I can only imagine if we can get high schoolers in there, you get parents into it. It's your kid. You got all this girls and boys and stuff. Like we would have a ton of people instead of just what we got shot put, we got track, we got football. Why not have arm wrestling, man? Like it's way more competitive. Instead, we got to wait for somebody to get up there and get their shoes on and do all that. We got people right here. Like let's see a match.
Right. It's very accessible to anybody too. That's one of the cool
Anybody.
things about it.
Yeah. My
All you
gosh,
need
even
is
at
surface.
World, they had the disabled class. They had like attachments for the table. This guy had like an attachment with like rubber pieces and everything that held his other arm like was his prosthesis on the peg. Like anybody can do this sport. I mean, what Bob Brown has a leg missing. He's doing it no problem. Well, no problem. He's doing it for a long while. So like, I don't see how they could still tell us that we can't have this sport
Right.
anywhere.
That's right.
Like, but yeah, we're going strong though. We'll be there.
That's right. That's right. Until then, all we can keep doing is keep on slaying, keep getting better, keep trying to do our part, right?
Yep. Yep.
Heck yeah, my man. Well, it was fun doing a podcast with you, Robbie. Good
Just talking
luck
with
as
you.
you continue your climb for sure up those Ohio rankings. I'm looking forward to seeing that David Lee match for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, David Lee. I'm hoping he's got transportation issues, so hopefully on May 4th he'll do it. And we'll get that. He'll see what that left is, man. It's crazy when you gain strength back and you get it back, and then you realize like, oh man, how did I lose?
Mhm.
It's it's one of those things that you just gotta sometimes be like, well, let's get it. And then if I win this one, we'd have a trilogy going, right? Because I'd have to have a trilogy because he beat me and
One,
then I beat him. Then we'd have to have a run back again. So then, and he's young, I'm young. We could have this going for the next decade, right? We could
let's
have like
do
a
it. Why not?
nice Ohio rivalry thing.
Build each other up and force each other up to
Yeah,
the next as you
yeah.
push
Keep
each
making
other.
each other better, right?
That's right. That's right. I love it. All right, my man.
All
Have a
right.
good night, buddy. I'll talk to
Yep.
you soon, man.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.